Guys, there's an old saying, what you see isn't always there, and what you can't see is often all around you. Today's story is a chilling tale about a man named Alex, who faced inexplicable events that might just change how you look at shadows forever. Stick around until the end, you won't want to miss this. Ready for a ride into the unknown? Let's begin. This tale takes us to the breathtaking state of Colorado, a place celebrated for its majestic mountains and sprawling forests. Yet remember that even in paradise, darkness lurks, often hidden in plain sight. Our story revolves around Alex, who returned to Colorado after many years, called back by troubling news about his father's health. In 2015, Alex, a 40-year-old man, was living a fast-paced life in New York City, juggling his job and personal ambitions. Life had been a whirlwind, and he often found himself lost in the noise of the big city. But when a frantic call from his sister shattered his routine, informing him that their father had fallen seriously ill, the weight of nostalgia and unresolved issues hit him hard. He made the choice to rush home, reconnecting with a family he hadn't spoken to in years. 20 years earlier, Alex had left Colorado due to his parents' financial struggles and the emotional toll it took on their family. Now, faced with the reality of his father's deteriorating health, he felt a mix of dread and hope as he booked his flight. Little did he know, his return would unearth secrets best left buried. As he landed in Denver, the air was thick with memories. Driving through the familiar streets of his childhood, nostalgia washed over him like a bittersweet wave. The shops were still there, and the landmarks of his youth remained unchanged, yet an unsettling feeling settled in his stomach, a sense of foreboding that whispered, something is different. Upon arriving at his childhood home, excitement and anxiety swirled within him like a storm. He knocked on the door, anticipation coursing through him, but there was no answer. Just as he turned to leave, the door creaked open on its own. Was it the wind, or something more sinister? Intrigued and somewhat apprehensive, he stepped inside, the familiar scent of home wrapping around him like a ghostly embrace. "Mom?" "Dad," he called out, his voice echoing in the empty halls. A voice responded from upstairs. It was his mother. Rushing up, he found them alive but frail, their health shocking him to the core. The sight of his parents, once vibrant and full of life, now reduced to shadows of their former selves, filled him with sorrow. That first night, while filling a glass of water in the kitchen, something strange caught his eye, a flicker of movement outside the window. Turning to look, he froze in horror as he saw handprints smeared across the glass, fingers pressing against it, as if someone had been trying to peer inside. The fear coursed through him like ice, and he dropped the glass, the sound of shattering glass echoing in the silence. Terrified, he ran upstairs to his parents, recounting the eerie experience, his heart pounding. His mother, weak but alert, listened intently. "There's a man in the neighborhood," she explained softly, her voice trembling. "He lost his wife a few years back. Since then, he hasn't been right in the head." Relieved it was just a person, Alex tried to shake off his fear. But what if it wasn't just a man? What if something darker lurked in the shadows, feeding on their vulnerability? That night, he lay in bed, tossing and turning, the whispers of the past mingling with the present, refusing to let him sleep. The images of handprints haunted him, each smudge a reminder that not everything is what it seems. The next night, seeking normalcy, Alex attended a gathering with old friends. It felt good to reconnect, to share laughter and stories from their youth. He almost forgot the unsettling events, the weight of his worries lifting, but as the clock struck midnight, a sense of dread washed over him. His father had warned him to return home before midnight. You never know what might happen at that hour. His friend Mark leaned in, eyes wide with concern, and warned him about the nearby Blackstone Bridge, a place rumored to be haunted after a tragic event in 1990. "A girl fell off the bridge," Mark said, his voice low. "They say her spirit still lingers there, searching for help." Skeptical, Alex laughed it off, rolling his eyes. After all, ghosts were just stories, right? Or maybe they're just on a permanent vacation. But that's a different story, he joked, trying to lighten the mood. Yet deep down, he felt a chill creeping up his spine, and the laughter faded. Yet, as he drove home past the bridge, he couldn't shake the feeling of dread. The road was dark and twisted, the trees looming like silent sentinels. Suddenly, he spotted a little girl standing on the bridge, her dress fluttering in the wind, tears streaming down her cheeks. Despite his instincts screaming at him to keep driving, he felt an irresistible compulsion to help. "Hey, are you okay?" he called out, parking his car and stepping out. She turned to him, her face pale and drawn, and claimed she was lost, searching for her parents. "They're over there," she pointed toward the dark waters below. As they approached the edge, Alex's heart-dropped bodies floated in the murky depths, pale and lifeless. Panic surged through him as he prepared to dive in, but the girl stopped him, her voice a chilling whisper. "You can't go in there. The souls are trapped. They'll pull you down." His blood ran cold. He felt a surge of panic and confusion, and he ran back to his car, blood pounding in his ears. What had he just witnessed? As he neared his home, he saw a figure standing outside. It was the man from the neighborhood, peering into his house. Confronting him, Alex demanded to know what he was doing. The man's expression was grave as he revealed a chilling truth: your parents were part of a protest years ago that turned deadly. The spirits of those lost that day still haunt this area. They're restless, and they've been trying to reach you. Stunned, Alex realized that he had been communicating with the spirits of his parents, not the living. The weight of this revelation crushed him. Would he have to lose them all over again? He staggered back, grappling with the unbearable reality, feeling as if the ground beneath him was crumbling away. Unable to bear the thought, he fled back to New York, leaving behind not just his childhood home, but haunting memories that would never leave him. The echoes of the past, the whispers of lost souls, followed him, gnawing at his mind. Even now, years later, the Blackstone Bridge remains a place of terror, where the lost souls still cry out for help, searching for someone to listen. If you ever find yourself near such a place, heed the warnings and get away as fast as you can, for the spirits may seek to fulfill their unfulfilled wishes through you, he realized too late. As Alex tried to move on with his life, the memories of that night lingered like a dark cloud over his head. He found himself haunted by dreams, visions of the little girl, and the bodies in the water. He often wondered if he had done enough, if he could have saved them, and if he would ever find peace. Every time he passed a bridge or a darkened road, the anxiety would creep in, a reminder of the fragility of life and the weight of unresolved issues. He couldn't shake the feeling that he had left a piece of himself behind in Colorado, a part of his soul tethered to the mysteries of the past. His nights were filled with sleeplessness, the haunting whispers echoing in his mind, while days felt like an endless loop of anxiety and dread. Even his friends noticed the change. He became distant, lost in thought, caught in a cycle of guilt and fear. Years later, on the anniversary of his father's death, he made the decision to return to Colorado. This time, it wasn't just to confront his past, it was to seek closure. He stood on the banks of Blackstone Bridge, the weight of the memories heavy on his shoulders. Would he finally face the ghosts that haunted him? As he leaned over the edge, the water below seemed to whisper his name. The past surged forward, and for a moment, he felt the presence of the little girl, her spirit lingering, waiting for someone to listen. "I'm sorry," he whispered into the void. "I should have saved you." But would he find forgiveness? Or would the shadows continue to follow him, forever reminding him of the souls lost on that fateful night? As he turned away from the bridge, he understood that some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved, but the weight of the past could only be lifted through acceptance and healing. Thank you for joining me on this chilling journey. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tales that lurk in the shadows. Remember, not everything is as it seems. Stay vigilant, for the unseen may be closer than you think.